You wanna do it at that agenda item?
Yeah, yeah, at the agenda item,
Okay.
yeah, consider for that agenda item.
Hi, Elena.
Ooh. How do you pronounce your last name?
Oro slab.
Of course. Thank you.
Good, yeah, really good, thanks, been like
Yeah.
averaging like.
Yeah, we're seeing your breakfast tomorrow
11,000
too.
steps
Oh,
every
good.
month, so just making time to do that. and,
Yeah.
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 Breathing down, but feeling good.
I'm good.
Are you out?
How are you?
Yeah, I think graduation's gonna be on
finally
May
kind of
29th,
getting out
but they
of
haven't
the
like
camel
said
fog.
anything
Yeah.
officially yet. So,
Last week, last week, and
Exciting.
big news, Paul's everything's been running, so.
Yeah.
just gonna say,
very excited. I'm kind of ready for it to be done.
hey,
It's gonna be good.
it's good, 2025. Nothing but what you're gonna do, and how's your other?
I'm gonna go to a 4-year, but I haven't heard back from like a lot of colleges.
An
Yeah.
extended period, so it's like getting better.
March, yeah.
So if I get the shots every like,
Yeah.
I think 7 weeks or 8 weeks. The hope is that like, they think that the breathing at night is causing me to like. My blood pressure is climbing. which is causing like that.
Oh, you don't want the doctors?
One cause of this.
Staff comes out, engineering.
Oh,
yeah. Taking engineering cars. Yeah, so I'm giving them all to my daughter. I don't think I'll use it anymore.
And I was
Maybe
thinking
like
about
The grid
being
paper I
a
got this
doctor,
one, because, you know,
but
sometimes
I
you
don't
have
really
to
want
sketch
to deal
something
with
pretty
Yeah,
quick in
I
the field.
I love it, yeah.
Yeah, so.
But you know, I have lots of like.
Cause I didn't wanna do
Maybe
that
this
in
doesn't
a
work.
position.
Thought
But I
I'd
didn't
use
wanna
them
be
all.
like a doctor that.
I just saved it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do anything.
I found them one day and I said, oh, here you go.
We actually have some at our company
Yeah.
that
Everyone I know
has,
that's working on
you know,
just
our
likes
company
it,
logo on it,
Oh.
it's all printed out, so you can pick up a
Kids.
pad of those.
Right.
The opposite feel, it looks a little bit more official, like that's it.
And it was, yeah.
I had the green, one, the standard green. right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
I have some of those
That
as
was a long
well.
time ago, so he's
Yeah.
probably retired.
That was a long time ago.
I have him, or I think,
Yeah,
I think he's retired,
that's how
but
some of
Dr.
our
Cannon's
professors
still
are
there.
there, you know, like
And then
requiring
now
the homework
Dr.
to be submitted
Marcus
on that.
and.
Oh, yeah, I
And
remember
yeah.
that, if I bought so much of it.
Yeah.
They were young. Yeah,
They were young.
yeah, but I went there when they were
24
both
years
still there.
Yeah.
And
That's funny.
he just retired like a couple years ago.
Yeah. We're gonna resume recording, we got 3.
Like to call to order the meeting of the Pleasant Hill Recreation and Park District Board of Directors, regular meeting, January 23rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. See that four board members are currently present and Secretary Bernardo will be joining us shortly. Vice Chair Worth, would you lead us in the?
Absolutely, yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and move to agenda item number 3, public comment. This item on the agenda provides an opportunity for members of the public to comment on any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board that is not on the agenda. There will be opportunity for the public to comment on other agenda items at the time they are discussed. Comments will be limited to 5 minutes per speaker, and we do have a commenter today, Denise Koroslev. Come on up.
Thank you. My name is Denise Koroslev, and I'm president of Rogers Ranch Heritage Center. Again, I retired for 4 years, and so I'm back on the board, and I wanted to introduce myself to a couple of the board members, and I think we really formally met. I also wanted to invite you to our annual meeting. We're having an annual meeting this Saturday at the ranch from 4 to 6, and we'll be going over what's been happening the last 4 years, and we'll have a financial report and what is going to be happening in the next year at least. We have a siding restoration project that we're working on, and we've been working with Michelle on our partnership agreements, and we had some exciting news. I was contacted by Joe Tanner, which some of you may know or remember. He was the Pleasant Hill City manager. I think he retired in 2001. He's a resident of Pleasant Hill. And then now he is on the California Municipal Finance Association. And so he's a director, and I guess they have a foundation, a California foundation of stronger communities, and they take their proceeds and they give them to nonprofits. So he was asking about the ranch, and so I sent him some information, and he took it. I guess each director has a certain amount of money that they can give out to a nonprofit in good standing, and so he made the presentation to the board, and for $25,000. And one of the other directors said, well, I was very impressed with the presentation, so I'm going to give 10,000 more. So we got a check for 35,000.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
So yes, we just got it. So it will really help with the siding project and other projects that we are hoping to accomplish this year. We have a lot of things, and Sandy, I was just saying we're having an annual meeting Saturday from 4 to 6. So you're welcome to attend or anytime come up to the ranch. And we hope to have some events that we planned, and that we're hoping to have a lot more things going. So thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Michelle, are there any other commenters email?
There are no other emails and no other public comments under this item.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and move to agenda item 4.1, report from ex officio Teen Council Representative Lila Nicholas.
Teen Council is planning their Valentine's dance, which will be held on Friday, February 7th. Flyers have been posted on Instagram, and we're still hoping to set up a table at College Park one day to sell tickets, but the principal is a little iffy about it. since it's an off-school event. And we're also planning to do a Battle of the Bands, but the original day has been pushed back, so we're still looking into seeing when we wanna have that. And then the College Park Choir is having their annual Pleasant Hill Showcase on February 19th. And their Disney and Dessert Show on on March 7th. And then band has their CMEA Jazz Festival tomorrow, January 24th. They also have their Contra Costa County Honored Band Concert on February 1st. And then Drama has their One Act Theater Festival January 29th through 31st. Then girls basketball played Northgate on Friday, but unfortunately lost. Their next game is tomorrow night at home against Mount Diablo. And then boys basketball played Northgate on Friday, and they took the victory home and stayed in the lead the whole entire game. It was a really fun game to watch. And then they play Mount Diablo tomorrow as well at 7 p.m. Boys wrestling won their first duel of the season, beating Alhambra last Thursday. They had their placer duels last weekend and won 3 of their duels. Tonight they have a doubleheader against Benicia and Clayton Valley. Girls wrestling had a tournament in San Ramon on Saturday, which resulted in the team finishing 3rd out of 46 teams, and 4 of the wrestlers took home medals. Girls soccer played Cal High on Saturday, which ended in a tie after a tough game and unfortunately lost to Campbell on Tuesday. But tonight they have a game against Los Lomas, which just started. And then boys soccer played Miramonte on Tuesday, which ended in a tie as well. But they already played Brian Christian today at 3:30. And tomorrow the PTSA is hosting the senior breakfast before school at 7:15, which they're decorating right now for.
That's early.
Yes, super. That is it.
Okay. Oh, great. Thank you so much for your report. We
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thank you. Any public comment on that? No. Michelle? No, I'm assuming no. We'll go and go to agenda item 4.2, report from the general manager. I'll turn it over to Michelle.
All right, thank you. I included a written report. I just had a couple of things I wanted to highlight. One, thank you to those of you who have responded about the PHBA parade. Please let me know if you are able to go. I'm guessing Director Glover is probably walking with his team. But I appreciate that, and we have a good showing, so that is excellent. Just highlight that the Dolphins registration is going through the roof, so that is fantastic. That's super exciting. A reminder, if anybody would like to go to the California Association of Rec and Park Districts annual conference is in San Diego this year. I know a number of you went in when it was in Santa Rosa, but please let me know if you would like to do that. We'd like to know prior to March 14th, so we can get the early bird registration. With that, that's pretty much all that I wanted to highlight. Any questions?
Turn it to the board for any questions. Yes.
One question, on the swim, the aquatics, is there a max that can sign up or?
Well, they have a max total number of swimmers depending on the time, like the amount of pool time,
Right.
coaches, that sort of thing. So
Okay.
basically they have a max number and then they look at each of the individual groups and then see if they can shift coaches and things like that. So,
Okay.
but there is a max.
Yeah, that's quite a few. Great, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? Any public comment?
Not in the second.
Get back to the board. Last call. All right, I'll go ahead and close this agenda item and move on to agenda item 4.3. Thank you, Michelle, for that report. 4.3, presentation by Sunny Panu regarding the proposed night market located adjacent to Chilpancingo Park beginning May 2025. Come on down. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sunny, and I'm planning to start a night market in Pleasant Hill, for which I have already submitted a proposal to the city, and we will be going through the proposal right here. So, are you guys aware of the Florin Decor, where Florin Decor is?
Yes.
Yes.
Chilpancingo Park.
Yeah.
So there are a few businesses already going on there. I've already spoken to the businesses and they are really happy with the plan. So one of the questions was that where will the people or the guests coming to those stores or coming to those restaurants will park? So there's a, okay, let me see. Sure. So the main motive of the night market is just to get the communities all together. And it was initiated by Bell last year. And how it started, I was looking for some of my vendors for my events, which I've been doing in Walnut Creek. And I coincidentally met Bell over there. So she was looking for somebody to start a night market in Pleasant Hill. And I was looking for vendors in the same market. So we just met each other and it clicked. And right after the week when I met her, I had my event in Walnut Creek. So Belle came to my event and she came with the whole family and brought some friends as well. Everybody enjoyed the event. So I've been doing some events in Walnut Creek too, by the downtown. In the Walnut Creek downtown area as well. Something similar to what we are planning to do in Pleasant Hill. So the name of the market is North Park Night Market because it's on the north side of the city. And it's a park where it's going to happen, like most part of the event, something like a band will be performing in the park and people after getting the food, they will definitely get in the park for the leisure time. So this is the whole picture, the way I'm planning to get the setup done. So as you can see the whole park, at the south of the park, there's a flat area where we will be setting up a band. And in the park, again, there will be some small booths for face painters and the balloon artists for kids' activities. And I've already spoken with Floor and Decor regarding the whole blocking the parking lot. And they have no problem doing it on Fridays. So the way we're going to lay out is we will be having the food vendors on the front of the layout in blue. So people can grab food and straight away they can go into the park. So they don't have to bring their chairs or tables or any other thing, you know, so that they can always grab the food and go into the park and enjoy their meal, along with the band performing in the park as well. And so right next to the vendors, the food vendors, there will be other merchandise vendors selling their artisan. Somebody will be selling paintings, somebody will be selling candles, or somebody selling pottery. So all artisans and other stuff which all these vendors sell in these markets. And along with that, so pretty much along with these activities, we were more focusing on getting kids activities as well. So I'm planning on to get a bouncy, which will be installed in the parking lot. So there will be no concern getting into the park for the bouncy. So the bouncy will be installed on the parking. And there will be a beer vendor as well. So beer truck will be parked in between the food vendors. Or if the park doesn't have a problem, we can set up a small booth in the park for beer as well. If the park allows that. And in either case, they will have the ABC. And now as the initial plan was for the AANHPI celebration month as well. So now my initial plan was to start the market in April, but after discussing with Will and other people about the AANHPI, so because May is the month for AANHPI celebration, so I'm starting the market in the month of May with some cultural activities as well. So we'll be focusing, initially the plan was night market, but now as we're starting up in the AANHPI month, we'll be more focusing on some cultural activities as well, like folk dancers and some cultural food events. So the food vendors will be pretty diverse from different cultures. One will be Mexican, one will be Chinese, one will be Vietnamese food. I myself have Indian catering. So I serve Indian food, which is curry and combo, by the name of curry and combo. So I'm going to have my booth set up there too. And mostly there will be food pop-ups because we had a meeting prior to this meeting with Off the Grid. So Matt from Off the Grid. So my plan initially was to set up food trucks, but he said I'm already doing food trucks in Pleasant Hill, so I cannot have food trucks in my market. So the plan has changed to only pop-ups, the way they have at farmers markets. So there'll be no food trucks, but there'll be only pop-ups. And the good news is, once in 2 months, so OTG will be collaborate with North Park to have a bigger event where there will be, I have the setup as well. So this will be the setup for the bigger event, where the merchandise vendors will be increased from 50 to maybe 70 to 80. And the food vendors, instead of 10, they will be at least 20 food vendors. So this will be happening once in 3 months, this one, with collaboration with Off the Grid. But the initial plan was the one which will be happening on every first and the third Friday. So that will be the first layout. Yeah,
So the big button, the very big button goes forward and the small button goes backwards.
okay. That's
So-
got it. So big button goes forward, right?
Mhm.
So this is the layout which will be happening every first and the third Friday of the month. And we'll be providing barricades to divert the traffic coming into the parking lot, so I have already got some barricades in the proposal. And we will have porta potties. So any questions?
When is it again? What, sorry.
So it's starting in May, so the first one will be 2nd of May. May 2nd.
The first and third Fridays of the month, correct?
Yes.
Starting in May and ending
November.
November.
First and third.
Michelle, do you have that background? So Sandy sent some slides a little bit earlier,
These
so.
are- This is from the,
And what's the time for?
Time initially when we start, because the days will be pretty long,
Yeah,
so from 5 till 9. And as soon as we go close to winters, so we'll do it from 4 to 8. And I've been doing events in Walnut Creek, something similar, so I have some pictures right here. And it was pretty successful.
So before we jump into questions, I just wanted to provide a little bit more background, if that's okay. And as well, so Councilmember La, before she became a council member, had proposed an NHBI celebration last year,
Sure.
which she did. And so following upon that particular event, she made her rounds to the various different city commissions, so the Civic Action Commission, Diversity Commission, a couple others, well too, presenting an idea of some sort of event catered around the growing Asian population, especially in the north part of Pleasant Hill. And so one of the ideas that came out of that was this night market. And so
Right.
these slide deck, pretty much the slide that she had used during the presentation to the various commissions, just detailing the history of how night markets sort of originated in China, I believe, as a way to extend not only the commercial time for people, but just a way for the community to get together and really celebrate different types of things. And so night markets are just a part of a fabric of Asian culture. So you see it a lot in China, but also in Vietnam. So during this particular timeframe, the Lunar New Year, so Vietnam celebrates Tet, which is pretty much all night markets, which is a very exciting. When I went back to Vietnam, it's one of those fun things that you can do. And so Councilmember Law had presented this as, can President Hill do something similar to get together the Asian community before she became a council member. And so this is what part of her presentation. When she became a council member, she had to divest herself from that component of it. But before then, I met Sunny, like my understanding, my understanding, I met you. And so you have already presented to the city and are in the process of getting all your permits. Is that right? Or
Before I met her?
yeah, or somewhere along that line, right?
No,
Yeah,
it all started after I met
Oh,
her.
it started out, okay.
Yeah, and because Zach was already in touch with me before I'd met
Oh,
him.
Zach, okay.
So Zach Seal from the city, so he was already in touch with me regarding this proposal.
From this.
From this proposal.
From this set, yeah, yeah.
And then I met Bell
Okay.
coincidentally, and then Bell had the same plan because Bell was the one who initiated it.
Okay. That's where they.
So it just got combined together now.
And so it sounds like you have talked to the city in some fashion or form and are moving through that. And you had reached out to me as well too, and I wanted to bring it to the district here, partly because we're trying to collaborate more with the city, and the city's interested in ensuring that this is going to happen, that we also as well. And part of it is because our park is going to be right next to it and
Right.
likely to be part of it. Now, we don't rent anything out in that particular park, but we have no really infrastructure, right?
We don't have any infrastructure, but
We do have
are-
some sort of
but we are
things.
renting the space
Oh, okay.
for this. I mean, there is no charge attached to that park.
Okay.
But Sunny has provided an application and insurance, because if we're gonna allow anything
Yes.
in the park, then we need, the district needs to be covered for insurance. So yeah, but yeah, that's all we would need for this.
And so that's why I wanted the board just to be aware of what's happening at this sort of news before it actually happens. And then the coinciding with May, ANHPA month, I think was a fabulous idea, just to sort of highlight where night markets have originated from, and then also just to highlight the diversity of that particular area. So I think it's great that you guys sort of suggested the idea of bringing in cultural performers and another thing just to highlight that. And so I guess you're here today just to kind of show or describe some of the things that you have been discussing, and then sort of open it up to the board for just questions or just clarifications or ways in which we can participate as a district as well too. So I just wanted to provide that background so that everybody kind of gets on the same page.
So I'm getting in some cultural events with cultural schools. And so hopefully we will be getting some good cultural performers performing on that event. And as I'm an Indian, so we have Punjabi Bhangra. So I'm going to bring that here as well. So not on the first event, but maybe in the second event. So there will be, so we have a couple of guys who have those big drums right across their neck and they just play. And some people do some Bhangra, it's pretty fun. So it's Punjabi folk dance. And I'm trying to bring that as well. So it's already happening in San Francisco by the name of Bhangra and Beats. So it's already happening in San Francisco. So I'm going to just copy and paste the idea over here too on my events.
Questions from the board? Yes.
A couple questions. My assumption is you contacted Republic Services.
I did,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, because to me, that is a important
Yes,
thing that
And,
logistical thing that needs to happen before and after the event,
right.
to make sure,
Everything is
everything's cleaned up.
yeah.
Your experience in Walnut Creek,
Mhm.
the food truck plot, is that what it's called, the Walnut Creek
Yes, so
Food
it
Truck
was
Plaza?
Walnut Creek Food Truck Plaza.
And that is
That
by the
happened on
Lesher?
no, it happened on the Newell Avenue. You guys know where San Remo, what do you call it? Oh, where,
Okay, I know where that
I know
is.
that is.
Yeah,
where
just-
Dunkin' Donuts is?
yes, yes.
So same shopping center, they have an
Okay.
extended parking lot
Okay,
That's
right.
behind it.
I know where that is, along.
So that's where it all happened.
Yeah,
And is that a one-time thing you've done?
So I did like few events, but with City of Walnut Creek, it was very tough to work with. So I'm not doing any more events in Walnut Creek
Okay,
because their conditions and their, it's very tough to work with.
I actually watched the Economic Development Committee meeting when you presented there, so
In Walnut Creek?
no. Economic Development Committee of Pleasant Hill,
Okay,
and I think you presented where Zach Seal
right.
coordinates all that. So I was aware of that. So do you have, I mean, there's a lot of good ideas in here.
Mhm.
Do you have other experience besides this or something other than this other event?
What kind of experience?
Well, just coordinating these types of,
Yes, because I
potentially
am
big
a
events.
caterer and I have been doing events.
okay, so you've been catering.
Yes, I've been
Okay.
catering.
All
So I
right.
cater for DVC College as well.
Okay,
And then I've been catering for College Park High School. And then I did some events for City of Walnut Creek, yeah. So every time the Halloween event in Walnut Creek by the park.
uh-huh,
So yeah, we attend that as well as a vendor.
okay.
And so I have a good experience with events. Been through, yeah.
All right, that's all I have right now.
I was curious, like, what kind of attendance do you get from this event, on average?
So now as the city is involved, so the city will be definitely putting it on the newsletter or on the social media, Facebook and whichever platforms they've been using. Plus social media marketing. Plus I do a lot of marketing by going to school district as well, so that they can broadcast to the students, as the parents can bring students over there, kids over there. So that also worked with me in Walnut Creek. So I went to the Walnut Creek School District on Ignacio.
Mhm.
Not the Walnut Creek School District, it's the Contra Costa.
Or Mount Diablo, maybe?
Mount Diablo, I think so, yeah. So they broadcasted it on all schools around in the Walnut Creek. And plus social media, so I get good attendees in this, and plus Contra Costa News,
Mm.
they also posted it on their social media, which really helped. And I have been doing self-marketing by going to apartment complex buildings, talk to their managers and give them the flyer so they can broadcast it to their, residents. So everybody knows that there is something happening. So that way I made that event successful. So I have the same plans going forward with this event. Plus the city is involved and city will be helping in broadcasting as well. So that will be very much helpful.
The only other question I had is, like Michelle said, we don't have any real infrastructure out there, so I don't know, it is a night market. I guess during the summer, it's not that dark, at times you'd be doing it, but do you have needs for like, supplemental power and lighting and things like that, outside of what generators people bring of the?
Yeah, because all the vendors will bring their setup.
Okay.
So there will be no need from any external generator from any third party, because the vendors will bring their setup.
We have no power there,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have nothing there.
not at our part.
And as we don't need water, so the vendors will bring their own water setup as well.
Mhm.
Plus, the porta potties will be there, so we'll set up their hand washing sink right outside the porta potties.
Mhm.
Which will be used, for people to wash hands after they use restroom or in any case.
I'm sorry, what is OTG?
Off
Oh,
the grid.
Off the
Off the
grid.
grid, okay,
The one on Wednesday nights.
yeah, yeah. Is North Park Night Market a thing, an entity?
No, that's the name of his
That's the
event.
name of the event.
Okay, so who's the entity we would be dealing with?
Well, we're dealing with Sunny specifically, so.
So I have a LLC, so probably we'll put that in their LLC.
Okay. Because that then leads to the insurance question, of course.
Yeah.
How we would handle the insurance. It says North Park Night Market to handle insurance requirements for city. What are the city's insurance requirements?
For
As
insurance?
opposed to ours, because you'd be using the park.
There actually isn't, so he put this together for the city prior to getting approvals and moving through that process, so. So the city, the majority of the market's on private property, so the city's role is just to provide a use permit. Because it's a use outside of
Event, yeah.
because it's an event. And so the insurance, we have insurance requirements, I have provided them to Sunny, he will provide us with the appropriate insurance before he uses the park, so. But the city doesn't have any themselves, because it's not on their property.
Got it, okay, so that's just.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I share your concern about the lighting and the fact that the vendors are bringing lighting. Doesn't seem to me to be necessarily adequately planned in terms of bringing people into the park where we have no lighting. So there would be a bounce house, there would be a music event in there, people coming from the parking lot to these other vendors inside the park. Is there a lighting plan for that?
Yes, I will be putting some string lights around the trees over there.
String lights around the trees, okay.
So just to make it more, cozy and even works for the lighting too.
Okay, as I guess we'd have to judge whether that would be.
Yeah, and so, I mean, he's starting this in May when there's a lot you know, like we'll
Extended
start having
daylight.
light, yeah, so we'll
Until nine
work,
PM.
yeah, we'll work with Sunny, staff will to make sure that, you know, we eliminate as many hazards as
Right,
possible,
right.
so.
So the other hazard that I'm concerned about here is, you mentioned there'd be barricades. I don't know what the barricades would be consisting of. but-
Metal barricades,
I'm sorry?
the metal,
Yeah, they're to keep, yeah, these are the barricades.
Like pedestrian
here.
barricades, I guess.
Okay, well, I'm mindful of the problem with a car entering the Walnut Creek Farmers Market, couple of fatalities. And wanting to make sure that the police are involved in the permitting of this process.
Yeah, so I just
Make sure that the whole
received,
event, you know,
Yeah.
is safe for the public.
yeah, so the city is handling that, and I just received the use permit from the city with, so that they send all the departments and us, and we make comments, and then they help, provide the plan of what needs to be done, so the city is handling that. And so, so the special, use permit, the event permit goes to, fire, it goes to PD, it goes to us, it goes to Central Sand, goes to all of the major agencies, and then we all have to review it and put our comments in.
Okay, good.
And so that's how any of the events happen, so like the 5K run for 4th of July, all the parade, all of those things,
Right.
yeah, so.
on the inaugural day, I'm planning to bring in all the departments,
Good,
yeah.
yeah.
So that way they also know what's going on and public is also safe to see everybody involved in the planning.
Have you ever had any difficulty with the alcohol vendor in bringing beer to this event?
No, they already have the permits because at OTG Off the Grid, which happens in summers on every Wednesday, I believe. They have a food truck, a beer food truck, a beer truck, which comes and serve alcohol. All they need is a ABC license.
It's the same vendor
It's the same one we
that
had.
goes to OTG.
Yeah.
OTG.
Okay.
It's their.
So whatever entity is putting this on, will be contracting, say, with the bounce house people, right? And the bounce house people will be providing
The bounce house,
insurance?
yeah, the bounce house isn't going in the park, but they would be, yes,
Oh,
so,
I
no.
misunderstood that.
No, the bounce house is not going in the park, that's the only thing that's not going in the park. It's face painting, balloon animals, henna, and the band is, in the photo area is in the park.
Mhm.
The bounce house will be
Somewhere
in this
here, yeah.
area, so.
Okay, all right. So these vendors that will be coming into the park, they'll be hired or retained by you or your LLC,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And you'll be providing them with insurance, or they will be providing you with
They
insurance?
will have all the insurance because food vendors, they have their own insurance.
Yeah.
Because I go for events and I have my own insurance, which I have to provide with the organization for which I'm working. So they will have their own insurance.
Mhm.
All the vendors, all the food vendors, yes.
Well, the pictures of the event just look awesome. I'm just really impressed. So, you know, if we could pull that off, but I'm just concerned about the infrastructure and the liability issues, particularly by keeping crowds safe in the current
Definitely.
environment.
Yes.
One more question,
Yeah.
on the next layout, the one that the once every 3 month deal, the big
Right?
event layout 2.
Mhm.
So you're anticipating that the vendors would increase, merchandise vendors would increase to 70.
Yes.
And this is
up to
in
70.
coordination with off the grid folks?
Off the grid will only bring food
Okay, so the food trucks will be allowed on those
on
nights?
those events, yes.
Okay.
Because they will be bringing in their food trucks. Because
Okay.
OTG, they only deal with food trucks.
So that'll be on one of the Fridays, like
One of the
every-
Fridays
every
in
3
3
months,
months,
you
yeah,
know.
which will be a bigger celebration.
I have just maybe one comment, maybe for consideration. You know, maybe no offense, but North Park Night Market, it's, you know, a little generic. And we do have a name, you know, for the park, Chilpancingo, and I'm wondering, you know, if, you know, Chilpancingo Night Market can be kind of as it's branded, it might, but bring a little bit more
Is that too
visibility.
Hispanic?
Chilpancingo, I don't know, it's just,
It's a Mexican town.
it is a sister city for,
Yeah,
I
and
guess,
it's,
but
I mean, it's not our event either, so.
it's not really our event, but I just kind of thought, no, maybe tie it to that location, it helps provide a bit more of identity to it,
Mhm.
something to consider, but yeah. North Park is fine if that's how it
And
ends up,
whatever everybody says,
yeah.
because the market still has to start, so we
Right.
can still change the name, so. I figured out North Park, but if everybody have any other suggestions, we can go with that. Which everybody agree on, you know,
Sure.
I have no problem with that.
I think it might be able to evolve over time. This is a new thing for Pleasant Hill, because it has not had this kind of particular event, and it's
Right.
not had this kind of event in that part of the town, before too, and so. I'm sure there would be an evolution of this concept over time.
Of course.
But the fact that, there's sort of recognition, there's a growing population of Asians, and that part of town as well is an important part of town, and it's just to highlight that area. I also like the idea of sort of using one of our parks to sort of highlight our assets as well too. I think that's sort of a great thing. It's one of the underutilized parks, and so having it
Having
utilized.
park there is
Yeah.
a very great plus point.
Yeah.
Because in my other events, which I was doing in Walnut Creek, there was no park. So I have to get chairs and tables. Because I don't want people to stand and eat, I don't want people to be uncomfortable after getting the food, they don't have to run out of the event. So I ordered almost 100 to 200 chairs and tables so that people can sit down and enjoy their food, so
Will
in this
those
case,
Yeah, will those be coming into the park? You'd mentioned you were gonna try to funnel people into the park to eat.
yeah, so people can bring their own mats or whatever way they want to sit in the park, or they can just sit on the ground, it's grass in the park.
Similar to off the grid, I guess.
Yeah, something like off the grid, so people can just use the ground on the park.
And can you go over to parking again, because especially for the second event, there's gonna be less parking. You had sort of a parking plan as well too, right?
Yes, so I was thinking, as everybody's sitting now, to get in touch with DVC, because they have empty parking lots around that time. That would be great help if that works out.
You just gotta, control the pedestrians crossing that thoroughfare.
Any other questions from the board? Yes.
One more. On the lighting,
Mhm.
I know it will be lighter and I'd have to look at some photos of some of the events starting maybe at the end of May. But you may need to consider, besides string lights, you may need to consider
Some more
some
lights.
standard.
Some more lights, yes,
Like
yes.
light towers.
Light tower,
Definitely,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
The parking lots are not sufficient, from what I recall.
No.
I'm talking about in the,
The park is,
in the park.
The park has no lights at all.
Right, so that's
Or
where,
at least on the edge of the park, just because
Yes.
there's a grade change.
Yeah, so where do people getting into the
What's the
park,
the
the street lights over there?
Yeah.
Definitely all that will be in consideration.
Okay.
Just to make everybody comfortable and enjoy the event.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Michelle, there was a public. comment.
Yes, I do have a public comment. So Kevin Kennedy sent an email. It says, hello and good evening, Pleasant Hill Recreation and Park District Board of Directors, members, Vice Chair and Chair. Writing to you in support of agenda item 4.3, night markets. Purpose for location next to or near Chilpancingo Park. Once it is presented to you and any member of the public, I hope you will approve this. As a major supporter of the park and an advocate, I know this will bring a welcoming atmosphere to the area and invite locals from surrounding neighborhoods to visit the park and create an entertaining space. Already, I'm excited for future developments for the parks and the outcome it will have. Appreciate your time and thank you. Kevin Kennedy, Pleasant Hill resident.
Thank you, Kevin. I'll go ahead and close the public comment, bring it back to the board for final comments. Any other questions?
No questions, but I just compliment you and thank you for your investment in the
You're
community.
welcome.
It's anything, I think we've always been advocating, anything that brings people to our parks, is always something we try to, champion and get behind and, just kudos to you for coming up with
Thank you.
something and.
I live in Pleasant Hill.
Even
So,
better.
and I have my 4-year
Our
daughter, so I have been
community.
to all the parks in Pleasant Hill. So I know all the parks in Pleasant Hill. So yeah, it's a very good city to raise kids and because there's so many parks and it's so like nature is here, too many trees. and quiet. So it's a beautiful town.
Hopefully we'll get enough people there that they'll wanna help us build playgrounds.
I don't know, maybe we can put up a sign that says, would you like to have it, reinvigorated your country? You know, like we had the sign over by the library, though. Oh, the future park. Any other comments from the board?
Just,
Yes.
I'm happy to hear your proposal and also delighted to see us, considering ideas to make use of underutilized spaces. Because I know that was one of the objectives that we're gonna be talking about during the planning summit, so yeah, thanks for
You're
bringing
welcome.
that forward, yeah.
Any other comments from you? Oh, go
I,
ahead.
I look forward to hearing more information as you get closer to
Perfect. Yes.
finalizing all the
Yes.
details. Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. And also,
Sunny.
All right,
next time.
thank you guys,
Look
nice
forward
meeting you
to,
all.
The future.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Nice
thank you for
meeting
coming
you.
out.
Same here.
Agenda item 4.3, move to agenda item 4.4, report regarding the status of capital improvement program projects and timeline for outstanding fiscal year 2025 projects. Now,
Okay. I have a printed out version.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
so much easier to look at than YouTube. No, and I am inviting Lance Hurtado, our capital project manager. He wears many hats, like managing the capital improvement program is one of them, and so I'm gonna turn it over to Lance.
Yeah, I just want to give you guys a brief update, show you the timelines we're working on here and then answer any questions you guys might have. So, as you can see, we've completed 4 projects so far. There's a lot of things that are kind of just hanging out there, getting bids and that type of thing. So I envision over the next quarter, we should be wrapping up quite a few more of these. Then there's gonna be some that are gonna be kind of lingering towards the end of the year here. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. Good news is we just went out with the Roger Smith Park restroom replacement today.
Bid ones out to-
Yeah, the bid went out today, so that's exciting. So we get those bids in the end of February, see where they fall. So very curious how that project goes. Super excited to see it out there. So, and I'll answer any questions you guys have.
I wanted to just kind of update you, so this is the timeline that staff has been working on. Yellow is design, orange is bid, the blue is either in ordering, implementation, or construction. And then did you wanna talk about the replacement chairs, the reason why that's on hold at this point in time?
Yeah, so staff believes that the chairs that we have over at the community center, the banquet chairs are in pretty decent shape. We can probably get another 3 or 4 years out of those. And the dire need that we have in that building is gonna be the wood floors. I don't know if you guys have been over there recently, but they're really bad. I mean, they're tore up. So we need to do something soon. The bar area especially, there's exposed boards underneath. It's looking shoddy. So I would prefer to put the money that we're gonna put towards chairs, towards getting some new floors in there.
And we had the bar area floor was was included in CIP, but the rest of it was not, and so it shows on hold at this point in time. Lance is getting bids. We will then come back to landing facility and the board and make a formal recommendation on expanding the scope of the wood floors, but they're thin, they can't be refinished. And so we really need to do something about those, so,
You talking about the dance floor?
yeah,
It's thin and can't be refinished anymore?
anymore,
Anymore?
yes,
Okay.
it is.
Nailheads are gonna.
Yeah, anymore. And then, and so that is the reason that shows on hold. And then there are a few notes, just kind of talking about, some of these go over a couple of fiscal years. And then we're in, for like the HVAC is design only. So we just have a couple of just notes, of note. So if you have any questions, Tom's here as well. He has a couple of projects, but I think Lance and I can answer most of the questions.
Yeah, I had a question regarding the replacement of the HVAC at the senior center. I know previously we had talked about, possibly packaging that with the solar array that might be in the parking lot to see if there's some advantages to being able to do that, like as a design build. It could be done with the solar array and then also cover the HVAC. Now we're kind of splitting it out. Is there still some discussion about having?
We're still looking at that, so the solar falls under different laws, I should say, on bidding than the HVAC. So we have some of those concerns. Also, the funds that we were targeting as far as infrastructure funds and things like that are no longer available with the administration.
Yeah.
We are still working on that, but we're having a hard time with OSA in packaging those two things together.
Okay.
So OSA had told us that we needed to get a design for the HVAC, and then we needed to look at if at that point in time we could put out an entire bid. Problem is that we were looking at this time with one vendor on the solar, and we can't do that and package the HVAC with that. So we may need to do a full RFP on that.
Okay.
But we're still looking at all those options.
And then the only other one I know, it had been, CIP that had been identified before, but it was for Dinosaur Hill and the replacement stairs and things like that. I hate to say, I sometimes question about the amount of usage that park gets and, the amount of cost that would be used to improve that access and stairs, some of the justification for that particular project, but I know it's kind of underway, so.
Well, so we went to Land and Facilities with that project in the Shannon Hills Boardwalk project. And the feedback from the Land and Facilities Committee was that the Dinosaur Hill project was too expensive for the benefit. And so asked us to go back as a staff to look at another option, which would be to remove those stairs and to put the hill back as it should be, natural, and create the path that goes around the hill and up. So we're looking at that as a less expensive option to come back to Land and Facilities with. Yes.
Yeah, that's a really good example of perhaps not enough communication about, those sorts of things, because the bond measure didn't pass, we're talking about a pivot. And that may impact a number of these items, not just the Dinosaur Hill project. So I think I personally am looking forward to the retreat to really go back up in the balloon and look down from a great distance to see where our funds are going, and to see perhaps how best or better to position ourselves to be able to get a successful vote passed. I think all that's on the table to talk about at our retreat. And so while I appreciate the update here, I think it's important that staff understand that, at least from my perspective, many of these things are still we're working on them, and we might change the timeline.
Anytime we come back, we would come back once we get bids, and then the board would decide whether or not you want to move forward with that project. Correct.
Because the bids are always gonna.
Well, we've been under budget, knock on wood. Lance has been really good and been at budget or under budget on everything so far, so we'll see. So
I have a question here about the graffiti prevention and mitigation. It's in design. What exactly is that?
So we got most of the money for that was scheduled for this year was for the security master plan, and so we got that, and then we're in the process of mapping out a potential phase 1 approach. And so we will be going back to Land and Facilities with that in February to talk about phase 1 and what that is. So that's why it's in design.
So we're getting some meat on the bones.
Correct. Yes.
Of that.
We're in the process of doing that.
Okay, so we're really not in design, which
We are
connotes an
design,
active, we're spending money on experts to put together a plan for us when.
Yeah.
That's really not, quite what we're doing yet.
Yeah, so we're looking at phase one, we'll come back with that, and still consider design, because we're not actively putting, we're not actively
Right.
building anything, so.
The recommendation that was just described about land facilities and Dinosaur Hill Park. Is, I think really, important for all of us to hear about, because, it does show that we're not just marching down as if there's going to be the money to do this.
Mhm.
We're maybe putting some brakes on a little bit to take a look at, bigger picture.
Yeah, and the chair of the Land Facilities Committee did report on that after that.
Was that a meeting I missed perhaps?
Yeah. That was me.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I apologize for not
That's okay.
having caught up on that.
All right.
Other questions? Yes.
Yeah, I have one comment. On Shannon Hills. Have we heard from,
We have not,
heard
No.
anything? No, and I couldn't remember the timing. of
they said spring.
Yeah,
so,
okay, I think that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so,
So hopefully we'll
Yeah.
have good news on
Yeah.
that, which will be very helpful.
right,
You're talking about the
Replace the
grant?
boardwalk.
about the grant and the planting, and we're just gonna go to bid on just the boardwalk, not replacing any of the
Vegetation.
vegetation, so we're gonna assume that we get that grant when we go to bid. We're in the process of finalizing those plans.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Open up the public comment. Any public comment?
No public comment.
We close public comment and bring it back to the board for discussion. Any further comments? We're gonna jump in and start first.
I appreciate the update, but, to me, it's all kind of on pause at the moment.
Thank you for the update.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
I actually, just one comment, I do like the more graphic picture of it, just so that we have a better idea. Yeah, the color coded in it, I'm a very visual person, and so, things like the budget, or this in terms of a timeline, just helps us kind of gauge, I think what you were saying, where things are and where potentially as a group, we could potentially just talk about it and intervene upon it. When it was just sort of a text description, it was kind of hard to say, where is it? And can we talk about it some more? So having this and there's kind of gives us a better sort of sense of where things are at.
I'm sorry, I actually do have like one other
Oh,
small
yeah.
question, if we could go back. The chairs at the senior center were recently replaced, but the, previous chairs, were any of those salvageable that could be maybe, used over at the community center? And just, I don't know if there's similarities or not between those two styles, just.
We have them right now. I don't know if they're gonna be able to be reused. We definitely wouldn't put them in the community center.
Okay, they're not in
No,
keeping with that,
no.
okay.
If they're gonna go anywhere, it'd be the Winslow, and they're just not really functional.
Okay.
They're kind of beat up, so we still have them. for
Okay,
now.
just curious, yeah, those can be
When we
repurposed.
need to leave, when you will know, because we'll need to ask you to surplus them.
Surplus.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you need some chairs? No.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know.
Excellent. Any other final comments? We'll close this agenda item. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lance.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go ahead and close agenda item 4.4 and move to agenda item 5, consent calendar. Consent calendar items are considered to be routine by the board of directors and will be enacted by one motion. Became a motion to move the consent calendar and
I'll move the consent calendar.
thank you. We have a motion to move the consent calendar. Yes.
I'll second.
Thank you, Vice Chair, for seconding that. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0. Thank you. We'll go on to agenda item 6.1, approve performance compensation of 2,500 to the general manager's 457B retirement account following the board's evaluation of the general manager's performance for 2023-2024. I am going to invite Director Vincent, who was chair at the time when this recommendation took place.
Thank you. As all of you will recall, I'm gonna give you a little bit of the timeline, and we did this same thing in this month a year ago for 2023. But the board met in closed session on September 26th regarding the performance evaluation of our general manager. After discussion of the evaluation, the board determined that a bonus of $2,500 would be contributed to the GM's 457B retirement account. Chair Tran and I met with General Manager Lacey on December 5th to review the evaluation and to confirm the bonus amount. And we are looking forward to approving that tonight. It's in line with our requirements of the last change to the employment agreement that we made a year ago. And once we approve it, then I will write an email to Chris Petlock that the board has authorized this to happen for the year ending in September 30th of 2024. So at this point, if you have any questions, if not, it'll be open for a motion on this event, on this item.
Yeah, I'll open it up to questions from the board.
Will we have a discussion period?
Yes,
Sure.
questions? Okay, open up the public comment and public comment. Okay, we'll close public comment and bring it back to the board for discussion and comments. Which I started.
Well, this is traditionally the time when we as a board get to share with the public our feelings about our general manager. Obviously, 2023-24 was extremely personally difficult year for our general manager, and her performance during that time was just incredibly I just can't show enough respect for you, Michelle, for all that you did during a very difficult time in your life. So I want to thank you on my behalf and certainly on behalf of the board for all that you accomplished during that year, and to just thank you.
Thank you. Other comments from the board?
Well, I think I had observed and commented before how much I had seen Michelle care for her staff. And I think that, you know, a lot of that came back, you know, when, you know, Michelle had to take time off, you know, the staff stepped up in her absence, kept things going. And it was a challenging year. We were able to get through it, but it's really nice to see just how big of a team we're playing on with everybody, you know, contributing. And a lot of that is attributed to your leadership. So thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. Any comments? No.
I don't wanna ruin
Okay.
it.
You can say ditto.
Said it perfectly.
My comment is gonna be short and sweet. It's just that we've had a discussion with you. We're lucky to have you, and I hope that we have you for many more years. I'm looking forward to what can happen in the district and how, you know, we've got a lot of things that we all want to accomplish. And I think under your leadership, we have the best chance of success. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll keep my comments short as well too. I gave a lot of my comments in the private session or closed session as well too. I do want to say that I did start off with how lucky we were as a district to have you as a general manager, and that in totality, you know, the comments sort of reflected our appreciation of what we've done. It also reflected some challenges as well too, but despite those challenges, we still got things done and still got things moving forward, and that's sort of reflective of not only who you are as a person, but who you are as a leader as well too. So hopefully that came off during the feedback session during that, and so I was very supportive of this particular amount. And so I would just end it there and open it up for a motion to approve this agenda item. And a second.
I'll move that the board approve the performance compensation of $2,500 to the GM's 457B retirement account for the 23-24 period that ended through September 30th, 2024.
Thank you. We have a motion to move that agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. 5-0. Thank you. Approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll close agenda item 6.1 and move to agenda item 7, local report from committee chair and opportunity to set meeting dates. I don't think there are any, right?
We don't have any, but I will be setting meetings in February for land and facilities, budget and finance, and program in March.
A lot of things going on.
Yeah, and then after the retreat, we'll definitely kind of have a calendar of things we need to do.
Excellent, excellent. That's music to my ears. I really wanted to have active committees, and so that's wonderful. We'll move on to agenda item number 8, board announcements and requests to staff. And we will start, I forget what order we're supposed to start off with. We'll start with Director Mason. Which chair do you want us to start from?
Well, I get the honor of being the first to so because several of you were there, it was a pleasure to attend the employee recognition and appreciation event that was held on January 10th. Congratulations again to all of the staff members who aren't here that were honored, and especially to Allie Craw for coordinating and emceeing that event. She does a great job. It was a lot of fun. The food was good. It was good to talk to people. It was really an honor to be there and be able to attend. So I know that you'll hear more about that. Kind of just as an umbrella event, there was a Pleasant Hill PHBA Hawks fundraiser that Director Glover was also dropped by. It was Sunday morning, the 12th, very cold morning, and they did a fundraiser event for the Hawks baseball team that goes to Cooperstown. That's where they go every year. So they raise funds for that. So that was a fun event. They did a great marketing job, and I think they had twice as many runners as they had previously. It starts at Slowham Barbecue and ends there, and they do a special thing with breakfast burritos in the morning. So that's kind of an added thing, and they support the Hawks quite a bit. So that was a fun event to be there. I think I'm looking forward to the retreat, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Move on to Director Glover.
Yeah, thank you. I apologize for missing the last meeting and the event. I got plagued with that horrible upper respiratory thing that was going around, and hope I don't wish that on anybody. But I just wanted to comment, in my recovery from surgery, I've been spending a lot of time walking around Pleasant Oaks Park, and I just always want to give credit when we see our team members out there. I mean, I see people, I don't even know the gentleman's name that there's on a regular basis during the week. I mean, he's fantastic. Alex. Yeah, I mean, he's awesome. He's out there I see him all around the park early in the morning. Alan was there on Monday morning at 7 a.m. on a holiday, freezing cold weather, and they're getting the park ready and getting the bathrooms ready and the facilities. And so, just kudos to the team. Had an opportunity to see Tom out there the other day, and just thank them for the work that they're doing in pretty frigid weather early in the morning, and just out there working hard to make the parks look better. And so I just appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move over to Secretary Manano.
Well, I would just first like to announce that I'm glad you're well and you're back again. We've missed you. I too attended the employee appreciation event, and it was really a lot of fun, as Sandy mentioned, that to get to know people that you don't see a whole lot of, to learn their first names, to be able to congratulate people who've been here for so many years. It just shows the devotion that our staff has to the district and to their positions, and it's just wonderful to be there to be able to share that appreciation that we have for them. It was also fun to watch the opportunities that some of our staff members have that don't do public speaking very often, to get to be able to do some. And I thought in particular there was I think his name was Jose.
Yes.
I went up to him later on and he said he was nervous as can be. But his comments were so personal and so heartfelt. It was a joy to listen to him. And I don't think he probably knew that until he maybe got some feedback. So I think this is a great opportunity for those that are more leadership, roles to be able to have that moment for themselves as well, to be able to thank their folks and applaud them. So I just love the way it's structured. It's just really terrific. I too am looking forward to the retreat and to the PHBA parade. And I think that's all.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Moving to Vice
Oh,
Chair.
actually, I did have one.
Oh,
I
fine.
missed the very beginning when Denise came and mentioned the extraordinary grants that she has obtained. So I I was kind of stunned. I didn't have a chance to say anything, but a shout out to her for that endeavor and being so successful at it. It's just jaw dropping.
Listen. Vice Chair Wars.
Nothing other than maybe just a quick announcement. There have been communication going around from the city about the climate action plan. So I wanted to, announce that here as well with this group. They're doing 2 sessions for public input on that. It'll be Thursday, January 30th. So like after our planning summit, you can, attend that session from 6 to 7:30 and then one on Saturday, the 1st from 10 to 11:30. It's something that I'm gonna try and see if I can get to as well, just to listen in. I don't know if I'll have any comments necessarily, but wanted to just kind of spread the word out about that as well. And I'm also looking forward to our planning summit.
We are sending staff.
Oh, you are sending stuff, no, just kidding.
Awesome, thank you. And I'll round it out. I also went to the employee recognition dinner, which was really fun for myself and my family, just to be able to meet a couple of folks, chat with some people. The table I was sitting at became a little later, but because they have like 4 decades or whatever of experience, and then it's like, wow, you guys have been here a really long time. But it was good just chatting with them and getting to know them. It was really, really fun. It's allowed. My daughter's like, do they have like openings or anything? Like inspired by all the people working for such a long time. So, but anyways, it was just fun watching that. Looking forward to the retreat next week as well too. Kind of looking forward to the start of swim season coming up. Not sure yet. Now I have a full season of volunteering rather than a half season of volunteering. So I'm. It's a plus minus
Hopefully
right
got
now.
alive a little earlier this year too, in choices.
So it's coming down the pike. I see it coming. So that's coming down. Just a reminder that next week, Wednesday is Lunar New Year. Tuesday, February 4th, the Pleasant Hill Library will have a line dance put on by the Tomizaki's Champions Kung Fu Institute at the library, of course. Just as a reminder, it is the year of the wood snake. And just to give people some background, snakes are pretty complex, multiple sides. So for the wood snake, it represents intelligence and wisdom, but also can represent being secretive and cunning as well, reflecting sort of that complex nature. When taken together, it's a time typically for creativity, flexibility, and growth, often noted for the energy level that is more moderate as opposed to last year, which is the year of the dragon, which is a much more higher energy level, which was pretty active last year. And so the year of the wizard tends to be more thoughtful and reflective, time for recalibration and renewal, which I thought was very appropriate for our year moving forward. I thought it was like, wow, it is, that's us, And so just as a reminder, I did bring some red envelopes to pass out. I left them in the car, so don't roll anywhere yet. I will have that. They are of minimal value, so falls within ethical guidelines. But I will pass them out and give to some of the kids as well too, just for fun. So just stick around for just a second while I go grab that. I will close out today's meeting with another quote, and I will make that my habit as well in recognition of the recent Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration. I will end it with one of his thousands of very inspiring quotes. So I'll end it with, life's more persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? I will end it there and close the meeting at 8:08 p.m. Wait.
What time is the lion dance, do you know? I think it's 6:30.
6:30, yeah.
Yeah.
That was tomorrow, you said? Or
No,
February?
it's February 4th.
Fourth, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a
That's exciting.
Tuesday, I believe.
That's a Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye. See ya.
Good night.
I'm looking with some application.
Yeah, in 6:30.
6:30.
Yeah.